on it. So let's talk about the draft real quick. Now, I've been saying this all off season. My top 3 draft picks, as it stands, will even go top 4 draft picks. I'm going Vic. I know he's had a plethora of injuries, especially in the last 18 months or so. He's had like 3 major surgeries, 3 major injuries in the last year and a half. I like the Yao Ming comparison where it's like, all right, if you know Yao is playing, what did Yao play? 8 seasons in the league. Are you still going to take Yao Ming with that first pick, 20 or so years ago? Usually the answer is yes. All right. Unfortunately, didn't end up in a championship, but that's how good Yao Ming is. That's how good Victor Wembanyama is. If we have the first pick in the draft, you got to take Vic. I mean, you just have to. If you have the second round pick, I don't see a world where Brandon Miller falls to 2 and it's not Scoot Henderson. My dream scenario is almost Houston gets that second round pick because I think it would make the Kevin Porter Jr. situation or question, dilemma, whichever word you want to use for it. I think it would make it a lot more easier to be like, all right, we're going to move Kevin onto the bench as our 6th man, which every championship needs a sturdy, solid 6th man who's going to come in with your bench unit against the opposing team's bench unit and get you double-digit points, lead your offense, help set the tone, help keep that chemistry and that energy up. I think Kevin Porter Jr. is perfect for the 6-man role. Now, with that being said, if we were to fall to 3 and you lose out on Scoot and you lose out on Vic and we run another year of Kevin Porter Jr., would I be all that upset? Definitely not. Kevin is still a very young player, but Scoot, to me, he has everything. He's got that it factor. He's got that swagger. He's not afraid to take big time shots. And this is, not meant as a comparison with Kevin Porter Jr. I'm just saying Scoot Henderson, if Victor Wembanyama wasn't the number 1 rated prospect for a very long time now, Scoot Henderson would be unanimous number 1. All right, he would just be the number 1 pick. So you have to go Vic number 1. You have to go Scoot number 2. And then at pick number 3, I'm probably still going Brandon Miller. I wouldn't be upset actually if they took the overtime cat in Heyman Thompson because he's got that nice point forward. I've seen some comparisons actually to Scotty Barnes. I'm still going Brandon Miller. I know he didn't have a beautiful NCAA draft, but he still emulates exactly what teams are looking for in today's day and age as far as like 3-and-D. He's going to shoot over 45% or around 45% from the field. He's going to play some defense, and he's going to shoot over 35% from downtown. But once again, in general, Bama's offense, Bama in the NCAA tournament did not do that great. So Brandon Miller, the good side, the benefit to it was he was still playing defense. He was still trying hard. He was still hustling. He was still getting himself involved outside of the scoring stat. And that's how that's a good way to evaluate a player, evaluate a talent. It's like, all right, if their shot's not falling, are they screwed? You can use Jalen Green as an example. If they're not making their shots, are they still getting their teammates involved? Are they still making good passes? Are they getting rebounds? Are they on the defensive side? What are they doing? So to me, Brandon Miller is still the number 3 pick. And then I'm going Amen Thompson with pick number 4 if we were to fall to 4. I personally, gut feeling, I don't think actually Houston falls to past 3. If the NBA lottery, if the draft was actually rigged, I do think Houston would be guaranteed a number 1 or number 2 draft pick, but I know that's all just hearsay, that's speculation, and that's not what we're here for. But basically the point applies. I don't think Houston will be worse than a top 4 pick or even a top 3 pick. I still haven't narrowed in my 5th round selection. We're less than a month away from the NBA draft lottery, so keep that in mind for Houston Rocket fans. We have a lot to look forward to in the near future. Pretty much what is going to be going on then? The conference finals. Pretty much keep in mind, like once the conference finals are going on, it's going to be draft lottery time, and then once the NBA finals are done, it's like the draft's going to sneak up on you. Free agency is going to sneak up on you, and as we all know, with summer just before, like when you're not expecting it, before you even know it, summer's going to be over. And by that point, for NBA fans, it's NBA season, right? All right, so on the screen here, that wasn't any of the 3 or 4 players I just mentioned. This is Maxwell Lewis. All right, he's out of Pepperdine. I really like Maxwell Lewis. Last season with Pepperdine, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 47% from the field, 35% from downtown. And the reason I mentioned that is because of pick number 20. All right, we have pick number 20. We have a top 6 guaranteed pick, and we have pick number 20, regardless of the lottery. That's outside of the lottery. So we have top 6 because of our record, and then we have the pick number 20. This year's draft is pretty, I don't want to say confusing, but it's pretty up in the air. We have to wait for these guys to go to the draft combine, and that's going to change a lot. So, honestly, whether it's on this or the NBA show or just making a basketball video or talking basketball in general, I try to steer away from. I like to do mock drafts. I actually love to do mock drafts, but especially when it comes to pick number 20, it's like, if I had to give a selection right now, I'm going to go Maxwell Lewis. There's plenty of other options out there. And, all that stuff is going to become a lot more clear here as the offseason progresses, because keep in mind, we're only in the second round of the playoffs. So a lot's going to change, especially with the NBA draft. I'm going Maxwell Lewis. Let me know what you guys are thinking about down below. And then finally, wrap up tonight's quicker than expected show. I know we have game 2, Lakers Warriors in we got 24 minutes here. Personally, real quick, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to lock in the Golden State Warriors. I don't see a world. I get it. Even on paper, maybe the Lakers look like the better team. I don't see a world Golden State loses tonight's game. I know, especially on a Rockets podcast, that's not exactly what people want to hear, but that's, I just want to get that prediction out there. So lastly, we have a question here. I can't remember who exactly asked it on the community tab. Let me pull up the Twitter. Actually, while I have you guys here, actually, you know what? Let's just do that before we get into it. Here's Let's Talk Rockets. So, yeah, you guys have been watching Houston Rockets Daily for a while. It's still Houston Rockets Daily. We're still going to be posting videos. We're still going to be posting, everything. In fact, I actually kind of want to start clipping these podcast episodes relatively soon once the off season picks up a little bit. But we only have 8 followers here. The link is down below. You can also look up Let's Talk Rockets on Twitter. Keep in mind the Spotify link is also down below. We only have 4 total plays. We have 7 total followers. So shout out to all 7 of you. One of them's me. So shout out to all 6 of you. And those are the day ones. But this is gonna be something fun. We're gonna keep this pushing for quite some time now. We got my boy Chris here, the best source for Rockets news. So go check out his socials. But finally, we'll touch on Jalen Green for James Harden. I mean, this is a, God forbid, awful trade. In fact, I think most Rocket fans would agree with this statement. If it were to happen, I don't think anybody would be pleased. I think most people would actually be upset. James Harden, I know it was game 2, and in game 1, I have the stats actually probably on the second page. James Harden in the first game against the Boston Celtics without Joel Embiid, 45 points, 17 of 30 from the field. He limited turnovers nicely, shot